I think when we think about standing with Jewish people, we come up with all kinds of ideas. Some of them might even be walking with them, standing with them in adversity, taking on adversaries. But there's so much more, and it's really grounded in the scriptures. So in my study, I've found 5 rewards that I also call models for the church to express in their life, to live out, that come right from the scriptures. The first one is humble dependence. We find this in the life of Abraham. He was humble, he was dependent. His whole life was one of humility, and it's a powerful model. The second would be modeling a belief in miracles. I think we can stand with Jewish people when we look at the scriptures and we see, as we do in 2 Kings chapters 6 and 7, that God's a miracle working God. He took a city of Samaria under siege and in 24 hours turned it from abject poverty and despair to plenty. Another way we stand with Jewish people is to get a clear understanding that genuine salvation is found in the history all the way back to Abraham. He's the father of all who believe. And we've got to ask the question, what are we believing God for? And what Abraham believed God for was the unimaginable and humanly unattainable. And in American Christianity, in the West, we have a very easy believism that may not be authentic salvation. A fourth model is a model of heroism. There's a lot of heroes in Scripture, not least of which is my favorite king, Josiah. I love this kid. Came to power at the age of 8. Age of 16, he followed the God of his father David. And what's intriguing about that is although his dad and granddad were absolutely far from God, Josiah turned the entire nation around. What an incredible king. And he was a hero, even to me to this day. That's how we stand with Jewish people. Another way I believe we stand with Jewish people is to have a model of prophetic expectation, where we look and see, much as the great men and women of faith of old did, we look ahead, especially to the coming of Christ. And in these 5 models or rewards that we have as we see them in Scripture, I think as we live out these things, we put on display a mighty God for Messianic Jews, non-Messianic Jews, and for the world to see we believe Yeshua is King. I think it's a spiritual responsibility to stand in opposition to anti-Semitism. I mean, we're grafted in because some of the olive branches decided they didn't have time for Jesus. But we're grafted in as a wild olive branch. And because of that ingrafting, we're called to stand with God's people, whether they submit to Yeshua or not. I love Jewish people. I love Israel. Every time I go to Israel, it's the highlight for me of my life. I believe the Jewish people are spirited, resilient, brave, heroic. I walk away from Israel every time I visit there or meet with my Messianic Jewish friends inspired. It's good for my soul.